welcome back to the Corporate Burnouts. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
Doing so good. How are you?
I am good. It is officially summer.
It is so summer. Kids are out of school. We got all kinds of stuff going on. What do you
I
have going
know.
on there? You just went to that college visit with Paisley. Tell us
Yeah,
about it.
well, I think that's going to be the theme of our summer, actually. As much as that is exciting, it is also a little bit painful. It's a little bit
Mhm.
emotional, but yeah, so Paisley is looking at a university that is local to us. So we scheduled our first college tour yesterday. It just
Mhm.
so happens to be where her dad went to school. So it
Hmm.
was fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was fun for him to be back on campus 30 years later and looking at how crazy different things are.
I wonder what the difference in price is 30 years later.
I don't know. That would be very interesting to find out
Yeah,
as
it doesn't matter, but it's
yeah,
interesting to me.
he went on
Mhm.
a football scholarship and then of course
Mhm.
student loans that took forever to pay off. And that was a big thing going into this is we were like, girl, this is a private school. And she is so smart.
Mhm.
And, in talking to the academic advisor, she qualifies, not to say that it's a guarantee, but she qualifies for like about 30 grand a year in scholarships just
Mhm.
based on academics, which is awesome. She's wanting to stay involved in theater, major in musical theater, also looking at the education path. So it's like the combination of all that. We're trying to figure out how that works.
Mhm.
And apparently it works differently from school to school.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. But yeah, it's still gonna be crazy expensive. And I'm like, oh, okay, but this campus, you don't feel like you're in Abilene at all. It is gorgeous. It is all super nice. Even like the dorms, I'm like, this is freaking nice. They're small. It's a dorm, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still gonna be a dorm.
But it's
Mhm.
still really nice. And so I was pleasantly surprised. Her dad and I were both kind of like, ugh, we really want you to get out of here. Not to say we don't want to keep her close, like I do,
Mhm.
but I want her to experience life outside of the little small town that we raised her in.
Yeah.
Neither one of us were really excited about her looking at ACU for that
Mhm.
very reason. And it's a private school, so it's gotta be expensive, even with all the scholarship opportunities. Like that does not make it free. This is not a full ride possible type school in the direction
No.
that she's going. So
Mm.
that part is crazy. So what I like though is that while it really wasn't a contender for me or her dad, like realistically coming out of that tour, it's like, ugh, she could be really happy here. Like this really feels right. But
Yeah.
we have all resigned ourselves that, you know what? We are going to take note of all the things that we learned, all the things that we love, the facts that we were able to obtain, and we're
Mhm.
going to tour all of the rest of the schools and get the same thing, and then we're gonna rack and stack, you know?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
was talking to
Leave
her
it
and it
up
was
to
like
her too, though, right? I mean, she has to make this
absolutely.
decision.
But
Mhm.
that's just it. I think putting all the facts on paper, the decision's gonna make itself and she'll get to the right one
Mhm.
because it's not all about money. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like if you can get the education potentially for free because you can get a full ride somewhere else, like let's do what makes sense, you know?
Yeah, as
And
long as, right, it still
yeah.
has the programs, but I mean,
Yes.
yeah. Well, what's interesting to me is if she stays in Abilene, she is going to have all these Dallas kids, right? Austin kids, all these kids
Oh,
from the
there are
cities that are
students
going to
from
come.
all
Yeah.
over the world. Like,
All over
it's
the world,
crazy.
but what I'm saying is if you go to a school in Illinois, everyone's from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
No matter which one you go to, and so she will go with them, and she will go and, live a
Mhm.
life outside of Abilene with them too, and most of them will be moving back to their big city, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that you're gonna maybe have a kid who's like, "I'm just gonna stay in Abilene for the rest of my life, no matter what, even if my parents leave." I don't know, but
Girl, this is kinda where they sold her too. Our tour guide was Mr. ACU. Like, he actually was voted Mr. ACU at the end of
oh
his
my
senior
gosh.
year, like, a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he was a theater major.
Mhm.
And so, like, we it was just it couldn't have been more perfect set
Mhm.
up for her. I don't know whether that was intentional on their part, but
Mhm.
she had her little personalized parking spot, like, reserved spot with her name on it, like, it was so cute. But they told her that Pumbaa on Broadway right now is an ACU grad. So she's like, "Hmm,
Broadway.
maybe,
Interesting.
maybe we go into Broadway." And I was like, "Girl, if you don't try, you don't know. So,
Mhm.
let's see." I don't know. I
It's
mean,
interesting. So fun.
she's always said, like, "I'll do theater through high school, and, like, this is just something fun. I'm not gonna try to
Mhm.
make a career of this." And now she's like, "I cannot imagine giving this up." And
Mhm.
so we're like, okay, let's follow passion because I want you to love your life. And at the end of the day, the only thing that, other than that, like the caveat outside of I want you to love your life is don't just look at these colleges for what the next 4 years looks like.
Yeah.
What will the next 4 years set you up for the next 40?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
because you also have to think about how you're going to support yourself too, because we don't do that for the rest of your life, you know?
yeah,
Mm,
because I like it's going to be a stretch for us to pay for the next 4, to
yes.
be
Yeah.
real honest. But after that, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to
But
do with what that
I'm
gives you?
Yeah, I'm glad that you are preaching passion. We did not always, like that's slightly new to us to figure out not just what can make you a lot of money, but like what do you want your life to look like and what do
Yeah.
like so I love that you're sending that on to her as well because a lot of parents probably put a lot of pressure on their kids to find something that'll be lucrative and not something that will make their life look exactly like they're looking for, and that's
Yeah.
what you can have both.
I think this summer and probably most of her senior year, this next year will be a lot of like, I don't know that there's going to be much vacationing. We're going to be
Mhm.
vacationing on college tours, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's the phase of life that we're in, and I'll
Mhm.
just live vicariously through you. What do you
Mhm.
have planned for the summer?
Mostly, so we bought that second camper, so we have the old camper, and we've been renting that on a site called Outdoorsy, and so some of our summer will revolve around getting that camper to places for people to use. So we hadn't done anything with it in several months. So
Yeah.
the other day, me and Dan and Brody cleaned it up, got everything in there, got, you know what I mean? Like we had to restock it basically.
Yeah.
And so that was a good amount of work the other day. And then Dan took it to the place where the people were staying and set it up for them and got them their bottle of wine and their wine glasses and, made it
Set it all up like an
the
Airbnb.
mints
I love
on the
it.
pillows. Yep. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a project to do this summer. Some people will come and just pick it up and take it with them. But a lot of times he's doing the whole concierge thing, getting it all set up for people who literally do not have the vehicle to tow
Yeah.
a camper
Or
who,
the expertise of how to do all the things. Like,
right.
I
And
still
we
want to go
could,
camping, but I don't know how to do all that.
yeah, I mean there's a lot that goes into it, making it balanced so that everything works and how to do the sewer and hook up you know what I mean? Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of different stuff and I don't know. I think that that'll be a really nice service for people who are like, I
Yeah.
want to get out there and camp. Or glamp, but I just don't want to do all the work. So we'll see. But that's a fun little new venture. And then we're gonna leave on Saturday for the lake, so that'll be really fun. Bull Shoals is my absolute favorite. So that'll be a fun week of just boating and finding good ski water for
I'm
Dan.
so jealous. I will tell you, I was looking this morning at our 10-day forecast, and
Uh-huh.
it wouldn't be the Corporate Burnouts podcast if we weren't talking about the
Talk about the
weather.
weather. Yeah.
So, just so that you guys know, it's going to rain here for the next 10 days.
Oh my gosh. So listen, you need to figure out how far of a drive it is to Bull Shoals, and you just need to come up. I'm not kidding. It's the freaking best, and it's
And
between
where
me
is
and
Bull
you.
Shoals?
It's in Arkansas.
Oh,
So,
okay. I, I,
it's
I
not,
never thought to ask you that, and you've been there a billion times.
yeah, it's in Arkansas. It's in northern Arkansas, but it's still, I mean, it's like 5 hours closer to you than I am right now. So,
Yeah.
still probably eight
Yeah.
hours,
I was going to say, it's still probably
six,
quite a
6 to
drive.
8. Yeah. But
I'll have
it's
to check
so
that out.
worth it. It's so fun. But yeah, it's my favorite. The water's crystal clear and you can always find good ski water and it's just great. It's just a fantastic place. So we'll go
It's a
twice this
nine and
summer.
a half hour drive from me.
All right. That's a little much.
I'll be with you in spirit. We have lakes that are closer, so maybe we'll get on the water a little bit. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think we are this is going to be the summer of, probably putting our head down and doing the work,
Hmm.
both, personally, but also putting in the work to set up kids for their future.
Hmm.
Peyton is potentially, we are crossing our fingers. She wants to graduate early. She's
Oh,
not she's not a school kid. She's always hated
yeah.
it. It's just literally never been her thing.
Hmm.
And there is like the sliver of hope. She got really lucky. She took health and like IPC, which is like one of her science classes,
Hmm.
and something else I can't remember in 8th grade. So she was like a little bit ahead going in. So we have had meetings with counselors and principals, and it is possible there is room in her schedule to take all of the required classes for graduation in her junior year and let her graduate. So
So
she's,
hold on, she might graduate with Paisley, or are you
yeah,
serious?
yeah, maybe. I mean, if they let her book this guy, and then of course, if she's able to pass all the classes, it's going to be a hell of a workload. She'll have to take English 3
But it
and
cuts
English
out
4
it
an
it
entire
cuts
year.
out a whole year. She could focus for a year,
Yeah.
I guarantee
And
it.
I'm like, maybe she can, if she has the motivation of,
Yeah.
I don't have to do this for 2 more years if I just buckle down and do this now, because
Mhm.
she can turn a 17 average into a B in a matter of 3 days.
Yeah.
There's no reason she can't accomplish this. I know what she's capable of.
Yeah, she
So
just has to have the motivation. I
yeah.
think she can have it. How will Paisley feel if she has to share her graduation year?
So I broke that news to her that we were, it was really funny. Like Chase was like, please don't tell her about this until I'm there. Like I want to watch the crash out. Like this is going to be a show. And I'm like, I can't do that to her because it's going to be a crash out. In fact, it has to be just me and her alone. And so that's what I did. And she was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like really? This kid, or really? Do you think she can do that? And I was like, hey, here's the deal. You're allowed to have all the feelings. I want you to know she's not trying to steal your spotlight.
She's just trying to get out of the
She
hell that
just
she
needs to get
lives
the hell
in.
out of here.
Yeah.
So if you can I just want you for a second, put yourself out of this and just think solely about your sister. Don't you think this is what's best for her? And she's like, yeah, I do. But also, are you freaking kidding me? And I'm like, I'm not really kidding you. And I said,
Well, so
this is what I rage baited her. I rage baited the hell out of her. I was like,
you're
I
such a
want
good
you to
mom.
consider this. I could have named her Paige. And she's like, what does that have to do with anything? And I said, if I'd have named her Paige, she would have walked the stage one person before you. And she was like, I would flip the table. And I was like, of course you would. But a couple of days after I broke the news to her, we were talking about it again, like riding in the car. And she kind of teared up. And I was like, what is happening? She was like, Mom, who else gets to graduate literally sitting beside their little sister? And I was like, that could be so special. Like if all the stars align and this works out. And of course, like they're working on it and it's possible, but we don't know for sure that they're going to be able to work it in her
Yeah.
schedule. If all the stars align, this could be really, really cool. The downside for Peyton is that even though she will graduate, it won't be her senior year. She won't be
Yeah.
treated as a senior for the entire year. All
Yeah.
of the special senior stuff,
Mhm.
you're a junior who
Yeah.
happens to be graduating early.
But does she
I
care
really
about
did make you
school?
cry. I'm
I
sorry.
know, it really did make me cry. But what I'm wondering, yeah, obviously, it's, like, kind of a long shot, right? So, you would be doing the senior Sunday. Why am I might need to
I
go
know.
back and fuck.
It's okay. It's okay. We can have an emotional episode because I have a tear that's
So
about to
stupid.
fall.
I'm sorry, everybody, this is crazy. But does she care? You know what I mean? Does she care that you might not do the senior Sunday post for her? Does she care about, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that it won't be celebrated that way, because if she does, then she should just do one semester early. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
yes
and
and
then,
no. She
yeah,
does and she doesn't. She does not want to do the one semester early because then you are a senior for a half a year and then you like miss out on all the end of year, which is
yeah,
mostly when all the senior stuff happens.
yeah,
So what I'm thinking is number one, like I'm gonna treat it just like I would for Paisley. Like can I post senior Sunday for Peyton? No, that really feels unfair. But I can celebrate her differently.
hmm,
And so that's my responsibility as a
yeah,
mom. But at the same time, the big things like she'll be a junior, so she'll still go to prom. She'll still have that. She'll still
hmm,
have homecoming, like the really big things. And by the time we get to those like end of year senior things, they will know that she's graduating. I would
hmm,
hope that at that point,
hmm,
you're graduating, you're lumped in, you're going to project graduation, you're going to, those sort of
hmm,
things. Like, if you're going to walk the stage, you should be included in all these things. But
yeah,
like, she's not going to get to paint her senior parking spot at the beginning of the
hmm,
year. That's just a thing that she's never going to have.
hmm,
And while she's like, that really kind of sucks, but it doesn't suck more than staying in school for a whole nother year. So,
Right. Well, and that's what it's a trade-off. So that's why I was
yeah,
asking because I did care about senior stuff, but also I wasn't in any activities, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like my senior year, I
and
quit
neither is she.
everything.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't care about senior nights. I don't care about, like I don't care about
Yeah,
any of that stuff. So it wasn't, but I went to school my whole senior year, but there were
yeah,
so many things that were like, this is the last time and this is,
yeah.
and all the celebration stuff. And so,
All the
yeah.
banquets to celebrating
Hmm.
the end of the year and all the different
Hmm.
activities. Yeah, if you're not involved in anything, those things don't really impact you. And
Yeah.
she's not involved in all the clubs and all the things. Paisley is. She's going to
Hmm.
have a year full of endings.
Yeah.
Peyton is like, let's get out of here. So I feel like we can celebrate them both,
Hmm.
but do it very differently. And man, for this kid who has struggled through school her whole life, simply, between the ADHD, like the learning side of things, and then really just hating school,
Hmm.
like if she's able to pull this off, like we're prepping for the hardest year ever with Peyton, and it's like a win for Peyton, but also this like bittersweet thing for Paisley because she
Hmm.
thrived in that environment.
Hmm.
But what I found interesting going back to the college tour of it all is we did learn that Pumbaa on Broadway was an ACU grad, and it definitely, sent her down that path. But then I quickly saw her like tuck back in, like, am I out of my league here? Am I like, yes, there will be auditions. Like, if you make it, then you're in or whatever. But I saw that like moment of self doubt of like, am I like picturing these big dreams that are not achievable? Do I really have what it takes? And I'm thinking, girl, do not sell yourself short. Don't not try because you don't know if you can do it. And then I really had to like take a moment, look myself in the mirror and go, you've been this girl before. You have had the imposter syndrome. You've also been the one that went for it and had to sit in the room and go, how did I trick them? How did I trick them into letting me be here because I'm not equipped or capable and obviously over time you learn like, yes, you were, shut up. But that's just it. So the imposter syndrome of it all, I think is about to hit both of them square in the face in different ways.
Hmm. For sure. I mean, whenever you're doing anything new,
Mhm.
chances are you're feeling a little bit like an imposter. I always say I love change, but I hate starting something new because I feel stupid because I don't know every single thing about it. And even like whenever I became a bartender, right? Like
Mhm.
from waiting tables to become a bartender, I felt so stupid. Like I was pouring beers with all the foam on them because, well, I had a shitty trainer who didn't tell me that you have to open up the tap completely to make sure that there's no air in the line. And then once we figured that out, I didn't do that anymore.
But it's because
But
you learned, right? Like before
yeah,
you know, you just feel like an idiot because you
but you feel stupid,
kind of
right? And
are.
I'm like, why do they think that I can do this? And it's like, well, I can obviously do this. It's just bartending. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
it's just
this is not
learning. You just
brain
gotta learn.
science or brain science. It's not brain surgery, like
Or
I can
rocket
learn it.
science.
Yes, I was mixing them together. But it's not the end of the world, that I'm not perfect at this on day 1, but as a perfectionist, it's something that
And that's
fucks me
really
up every
hard.
time. Mhm. And
Anytime that I trained for anything, I felt like a complete idiot. And almost, it's not like I just felt like an idiot. I felt like a loser.
mhm.
Like, why are you doing this? You
Yeah.
can't, why? Even like training to wait tables.
Mhm.
It's waiting tables. Like, calm down. Let's
It's
not
so
act like,
simple.
yeah,
Mhm.
this is and I won't say it's not a difficult job. Like, it is, but it's not. It's simple once you get
It's
it.
it's emotionally difficult to wait on
Yeah.
people. It is
Right.
not hard. It's not
Right.
difficult. But I don't know. I think that at the end of the day with any of these things, like we
Mhm.
felt really stupid because we felt like we were not good enough, right? We felt like we didn't have enough knowledge. We thought
Yeah, we
that
weren't prepared.
right, at some point that someone was gonna be like, "Why are we letting her do this?" And obviously that grew with the bigger jobs that we got, you
Yeah.
know? But, I mean, when I became a coach, I felt stupid all the time. I felt like they are
For like
definitely
a
going to put
year.
me back. Yeah,
For like a
they're gonna
year
put me
into the
back in
job.
my old job because they're gonna be like, "We thought that she could do this, but she literally can't." And I had a lot of proof that I was an imposter in the coach role,
Yeah.
like, I had so much proof that I was an imposter that I was like, "This is where I live now." But then you just start to learn, you fill in all the holes that were just the little things that you didn't know, and
Mhm.
then it's
Then
fine. And
suddenly you know what you're
well,
doing and you're
but
doing it.
but some people think that about themselves, that they're like, they obviously think that I suck at this because I feel like I suck at this. And it's like, no, I am tricking them. You know what I mean? Like I am
Yeah, you
tricking them into thinking that I'm good at this because I'm never going to not work hard enough to make it look like I'm good at this. But
Yes.
inside, I feel like an imposter. And I think that just so many people feel that way.
Oh, I think so too. I
So many
remember
women. Anyway.
my first meeting that I attended after being promoted to a marketing coach. I was sitting in a room with my boss, who was my mentor, and the other two people on the team that I greatly looked up to and had also developed a friendship with. And we're having this like real conversation, a professional conversation with, subject matter that I was having to weigh in on, where I'm like, why are you asking me what I think? What makes you think? And then I literally remember the moment that I sat there feeling like, I've really done it. I have screwed myself. I have acted my way into this role. And now they think I'm capable of weighing in on this conversation that has huge impact on the way that things are going to be done for so many stores of this multi-billion-dollar company. For
Hmm.
like, what have I done? And
Hmm.
it took me a little while, like, I'm not kidding, like the first year before I felt like, okay, I'm not a complete idiot. I do have something to offer here. But it's almost debilitating. And I think
It
a lot
is.
of people allow that feeling to stop them from even trying, or once you get in that spot of completely bowing out, going, okay, no, 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 I bit off more than I can chew. This is not right for me. Completely out of fear that they won't live up.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like that
And
self-sabotage. Before you fail, I'm
it
just gonna
is.
kill it myself.
Hmm. Yeah, and there are plenty of people who can't handle the pressure of the imposter syndrome and they just sabotage themselves, like you just said.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not that person. I don't sabotage the job. I sabotage my self-esteem for a little while, where I'm
Yeah.
just like, I suck so bad, and really what I should be doing is trying to pick up the energy of like, read the room. They don't think that I suck at this, right? Stop with these intrusive thoughts that I
Yeah.
suck at this just because I don't know 100% of what I need to know to do this job.
Yeah.
That is
It's like,
never a prerequisite.
it's reframing what that sentence is, right? It's not, I really suck at this. While that is true, if you were to say it like, I am maybe secretly not qualified, but I will figure this out. That's that's being a habitual learner, right?
Mhm,
We should all be learning.
mhm,
If you walk into every new situation, you're like, I got this, I'm good, and you're overly confident or even arrogant about it, like you're not going to learn anything, and you're probably going to suck, and then you're going to fail. I don't know many women who operate that way mentally. Truly, I don't. We all
mhm,
feel like we have to be, experts at something before we ever even start, or it's, like I
mhm.
said, debilitating. But
Yep.
I think there's different types of imposter syndrome, or different ways that it shows up for people. And I think you and I are very similar, but also a little bit different when it comes to that. You were talking about the perfectionism of it all. Like, I don't want to start until I know everything.
Mhm,
But I've also seen you grow so much over the, couple of decades that I've known you, to where now you show up and you say, I don't know everything, but I'm going to figure it out.
mhm.
And that genuine honesty in the moment makes the imposter syndrome feel a little bit better just by
Well,
being
yeah,
honest.
right, but I think that there's a big difference in corporate of applying for jobs. I'm just talking the difference between corporate and now, right? Like, the
Uh-huh.
imposter syndrome is to clients, so I just have to make sure that I am ready for whatever we take on, but before, it was mostly about, because I will always figure out. right? Let's say what's something that we started doing podcasts. Okay. So
Yeah.
we started editing podcasts, setting them up, doing everything for podcasts for people producing them. And we didn't know how to do that. But I know now that I can always learn. I can
Yeah.
always figure out anything that is any sort of digital
Yeah.
situation. I can't promise that I could learn how to build a house. I can figure anything out online. I can. And between me and you, we definitely can.
Yeah.
And and so I think that I still have imposter syndrome sometimes whenever we start a new service, but
I definitely do. I'm
you
like,
do more than I do. I
don't be
know.
telling people we can do that. Be
But
honest.
we
Tell
can.
'em we don't know.
But we do. We know enough, right? It's the I
Yeah.
know enough to be dangerous. Like, if I know enough to be dangerous, then I can sell that, right? Because
Yeah.
we will figure it out and at our own expense, right? We're going to have to spend a lot more time at it. And that's what it is until we
Yeah.
learn it better and then we
Well,
feel like experts.
that's our own investment in our own growth too. So that's
Yes,
not it doesn't really come at a loss because
right. But
we
it's
got paid to
different.
grow.
Yeah, I could technically get fired by a client for saying I know how to do this and then not coming through, but I'm going to come through cuz I don't fail, right? Like
Yeah.
I know that about myself. So, but it's different in corporate I think whenever you have that imposter syndrome because you don't have all the information to do the job. I think that it's harder because you are at risk of being fired from your whole ass job, like
Yeah.
you can totally be fired and so the pressure is just higher, I think,
Yeah,
and
the
it's
pressure of, like,
scary.
one mistake could expose me and cause this house of cards that I built to just crumble. Because that's
Yeah,
what it
but
feels like. It feels like you
it
built
does.
everything on a house of cards.
But it's also harder because you don't want anybody else to know, right?
Mhm.
Luckily, on the team that we were on, I was only an imposter to one person. The rest of you, I was like, fucking help me, like tell me how to do this, help me figure this out. But like in a lot of corporate settings, you can't do that. You just have to try and figure everything out yourself. You can't use your resources because you can't let anybody know that you might not be the one for this job. So you
Yeah.
have to hide it. And I don't have to hide that in the business that I'm in now. And if I let somebody down because I'm such an imposter and I actually don't know how to do that thing that I told them that I would do, then that's just one client that is,
Right, it doesn't crumble
gone.
your entire business
No, probably not. I
necessarily.
mean, for the
I
most
guess it would
part.
be possible, but
Yeah.
I don't
But
know. I think
it's framed different now, I think, for me.
yeah. I think that, going back, I think it resonates with people differently on what exactly that imposter syndrome how it shows up, what it feels like. We talked about the perfectionist of it all, that feeling exposed that they can't find out. I think a lot of people suffer from this by comparison. I know I did, looking at
Mhm.
other people on the team going, oh my God, I don't have that. I'm not good at that.
Yep.
But we got lucky in our corporate setting that, we had a leader that was very, very, very much focused on growth and learning and about building this camaraderie on this team where we all pulled each other up. There may be people that are 2, 3 steps ahead of you in certain areas.
Mhm.
And she was brilliant at saying, hey, you over here that's really good at this. Let's have you work with her because she could feed off of that. And we were kind of not always pitted against each other in those ways. We were
Mhm.
put together to grow
Mhm.
together.
Yeah. That's not
Once
always the case.
yeah, once you kinda get there, it did feel like being pitted against each other because it's like, "Okay, now you all have this skill set. Who's gonna rise to the top?" And it's like,
Yes.
now I
Mhm.
don't like that." But that's what I really feel like corporate
Mhm.
America kind of probably for the most part feels like. If you're really lucky that you work for a company that can see you don't know everything and they are providing you the opportunities to learn, like you're going to have to lean on your own self-awareness and your motivation of continuing to grow out of that imposter syndrome, or you're always going to feel that way.
Yeah, 100%. I was talking about the perfectionist side, right? Where I
Yeah.
feel like I want to know everything about everything before I start something so that I don't feel or look stupid.
Mhm.
But there are other ones, like the overachievers. They are, I mean, I think that it's kind of the same, but if you're an overachiever, but you don't have the knowledge, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you're not
to
quite there.
support it. Yeah. I mean, you're going to for real feel like an imposter, right?
Well,
I
yeah,
could have
because you need the proof that you belong in this space, and if the proof
mhm,
is not there yet, what's feeding your mental thoughts around it?
mhm. Yeah.
The doubt and
Yeah.
the fear.
Mhm. Yep. But also people who compare each other, you just mentioned that. You compare
Yeah.
yourself, so now you must get that promotion because these other people who you don't think are even close to as qualified got it,
Yeah.
right? That is no reason to push yourself through, past what you're capable of, but it also can be good. I almost never think that comparison is good, but if it'll push you out of your comfort zone to be like, I thought that I needed to know everything about everything about everything about this, but now I realize that I definitely know as much as that person, so I can do this. You
Yeah.
might feel a little something about it
Yeah, and I
once you
think,
get there, but
comparison can be a positive thing if you are looking up to somebody and you can see, ways that they shine that you don't. It gives you something to aspire to,
mhm,
something to work on and to lean into if you don't allow that to overtake on the negative side of your thoughts of making it doubt your abilities to get there.
mhm.
I think the other way that imposter syndrome impacts people are those people that kind of believe that if something doesn't come naturally, then they must just not be good at it and they shouldn't do it. And it's
Yeah.
like, the first time I put on a pair of ice skates, I definitely busted my ass.
Mhm,
That's okay, right?
mhm.
I
It
But
is.
it doesn't
Mhm.
mean that I could never be a figure skater,
Yeah.
that I'm not going to be. Because
No. No, neither of us are gonna be figure skaters,
not at all.
but I think that that's always hard for me, right? Because the job that we did not come I mean, the natural part was the teaching and stuff like that, the coaching,
Uh-huh.
the actual coaching, but the other parts of the job, the politics, the public speaking, the putting yourself in situations where you have to be the big expert, like full everything marketing expert,
Yeah. And
that
you're
that was
leading
really hard.
people that
Mhm,
are, sometimes 30 years or senior.
mhm,
Now I definitely feel like an imposter because I'm
yeah,
standing in front of a man who lived a full lifetime before I was born, telling him
mhm,
that I know better about how he should promote his business.
mhm,
That feels insane.
yeah,
But, at the end of the day, you know what you know, and all you can do is utilize what you know. And
mhm,
like I said, being honest about exactly what you know is the easiest way for me personally to lower that imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not lying to you. I'm not manipulating you, telling you I'm an expert and I'm just like blowing smoke up your dress.
mhm,
I know a few things about a few things, and when you can prove what you know and give examples of those things, you start to
mhm,
build back a little bit of that confidence.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that I am the perfectionist. I think that that's where my imposter syndrome lies, right? I want to be perfect at something before I start it. And that's just kind of impossible, you know?
Yeah, it is impossible. I don't know if I were going to lump myself in only one of those categories. I don't think that I fit anywhere with a pretty red bow. I think
Mhm.
that
It's
I do
different
a
in every
little bit.
situation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it just depends on the situation. Like, I prefer to know all of the things before I stand up and say, I know all of the things,
Mhm.
because I'm not a liar. I don't want to cheat my way into something. And I definitely don't enjoy the feeling of, holy shit, maybe I did just oversell my abilities.
Mhm.
And I think I am that person, that whole this one mistake could expose me person. But because that is so difficult for me to feel, I am the person who's going to immediately be like, hey, I can do this for you. I don't know how, but I'm going to do this for you because I know that to be true. I'm
Mhm.
going to get it done. If I don't already know how, I'm going to learn how. We're going to
Mhm.
get through this. But I have to say all of that out loud.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's why you go sell the products and then I just figure it out on the back end.
Yeah, definitely. I have the confidence that we can do this, and then I tell you that you should be confident in doing this.
But that's a huge piece of this too, right?
Mhm,
Like if you don't have the confidence that you need, sometimes it's got to be borrowed. And I
mhm.
borrow confidence like a motherfucker from
Yeah.
leaders, whether it's you
Yes.
or, leadership in the past
Mhm,
or even just other people in my life that know me well. I mean, I can remember having conversations. Amanda Black was my favorite person to do this with. Like, she's a really great hype person. And I'm like, I need
mhm.
you to tell me all about me
Yeah,
because
tell me why
I
I'm good at
can't
this.
name it.
I don't
Yeah,
feel
I
it
can't
today.
name it and I don't feel it, but when you
Mhm.
say it out loud, I'll know if it's true.
Yes. Everyone, please, please go find an Amanda Black. It makes such a big difference when you feel like an imposter. There is somebody who will tell you that you're not. There's
Yeah,
somebody who believes that you've got this, and you don't want a yes person who's just going to blow smoke. You need someone who
yeah.
believes it because otherwise you're not going to be able to believe it. But yes, everyone go find an Amanda Black and lean on them while you're in these phases when you're doing something new. So, so important. I want to talk about, though, the difference between men and women when it comes to imposter syndrome. Now, men, you will have to tell us if you have ever felt imposter syndrome. I have never seen a man feel this
Yeah.
ever, but it
Or
might
maybe
also
it
be
shows
because
up
they didn't.
differently.
It
I
might
don't
it might
know.
show up differently, but I don't know. I think that the biggest thing that we see and that science has proven is that, or research, I don't know if you would call it science, has proven that men will jump it. They don't have to have all the information, right?
Yeah.
So they are this entry level person, and then this promotion comes up. They have experience for about 20% of
Yeah.
this other job.
And they're like, "I
But
got it. Pick
yes,
me."
yeah, the confidence that comes with, I don't know, testosterone is solid, right?
Yeah.
And also the world tells them that they can do anything, right?
Well,
Like they
yeah,
can literally do anything.
the world tells them that, you know, for some reason they are better for having taken the shot, whether they were qualified or not.
Mhm.
And it is just not that way for women. For women, it's like, who did you think you were?
Mhm.
Why would you don't know. You're not ready for that, and
Mm,
I think women do that to women, and I don't like that.
mm-mm.
I
Well, we're
think
just
that as a society, there's a lot of change in that. There's a lot of
mhm.
focus on, being a girl's girl and like
Yeah.
building women up and we're getting better at that for sure. But at the same time, generationally speaking, like men aren't wired to avoid a challenge because they don't feel fully ready or
Mhm.
fully qualified.
Yep.
They are wired to seek out the challenge and then prove that they are.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's fantastic for them. Women by society are taught to be careful. Just in general, be
Yeah.
careful. Be careful with your surroundings. Be careful with, anything that you do because you don't want to make a mistake because that's looked down upon harder on a woman.
Yeah.
You don't want to ever look unprepared because we are still within the first, I don't know, 50 years of women really being in the workforce heavily like we are
Yeah.
now, you know? And so I think that while I don't think that during my corporate career anybody was waiting there to go, "Oh, I'm just gonna like call it out right when she fails," right? Like it was
No.
nothing like that. And I never felt, well, women generally make less money and there are a lot of things around that. I never felt like being a woman was holding me back, but I did feel like I had to play it a little bit different, like
Yeah.
there isn't the confidence of pretty much no matter what I do, as long as I do a good job, I can keep this job. Like I think that in general, women have a hard time believing that just because of everything that we're taught, right or wrong. So,
Yeah. And I think, in saying everything that we're taught, I don't think it's anything that is intentionally taught. I think it's all
yep.
subliminal. It's following examples that were set from your mom or your grandma or it comes generationally before us and it's going to take, actually making the change within ourselves so that our kids don't follow that to like break that generational cycle thing. And,
Mhm,
we'll see in the next generation if we have done a good job of that. But, when I think about this in terms of like applying for a position, there's so many jobs. Like when I was in corporate and thinking, I got to get out of here, and I was looking around to see what there were so many things that it was like, I think I could like doing that. Oh, but they want you to have experience in da 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 da, or they want you to have this degree or whatever. I truly feel like as a man, they'd be like, we'll apply, we'll see what happens, and go in confidently and be able to convince somebody that even though I don't have this qualification or even though I don't have this experience, I can do this job and here's why, and totally confidently be able to do that.
mhm.
I wouldn't even submit the application to put myself in an interview situation where for them to say, "Ma'am, you're supposed to have a bachelor's degree and you don't have one." I would be like, yeah, I'll see myself out. Yeah, you're right. I'm not qualified." Right? Like, because maybe that's a rule follower in me.
Yeah, I think that not all women are rule followers by any
Yeah.
means, but women do want to not run into those situations. They want to have 95% of the
Yeah.
qualifications, where a man would be okay with just having 20% of the qualifications. They're like, I can BS my way through this. And I don't believe, at least in the situation that I'm in right now with my business, I don't believe if you were trying to get a website, right, and you're
Mhm.
shopping around, I don't believe that you're going to pick a man over me. Okay. Like, I think that in corporate, people assume, right, sometimes that if I'm going against a dude, he's more likely to get the job.
Mm,
I don't believe that where we are right now, you know?
yeah.
And so that's good, right? But why would I go for a job against somebody else and I don't have the qualifications for it? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, it's so crazy, but you do have to get over that. You know what I mean? Like, you do have to get past that and go, especially where I'm at now. I mean, I had the most crazy imposter syndrome starting this business. Like, I can't even,
Oh, I watched it. I know.
I know, but I can't explain it to people unless you've done it yourself. You might not completely understand that it's a whole nother level. I have said the words, I had no right to start a business. And
Mhm.
that's not a good way to look at it. But the way that my brain works, I should have had a business degree to start a business, right? And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I don't have that. So I'm going to push through that. But I had never dealt with basically any of the scenarios that I've dealt with while in this business. I had never dealt with one of them. So in my mind, I had no right to start this business. I had no experience to do it. All I had was the marketing, right? I knew how to do
Mhm.
marketing, but I didn't know how to do it for every kind of business. I'd only done it for one kind of business.
Mhm.
And I wanted to be far away from that. I wanted to market something else, right?
Yeah.
And so I believe now that marketing is all the same. You just have to look at it from a different angle for each type of business and size of business. But it doesn't even feel like me who did that because it was so far outside my comfort zone that it was like I had never seen it before, like,
Yeah.
and that's why, again, I always say, like, I had no right to start that business. I'm so glad that I did, but I had imposter syndrome that could end the world. Like, it was seriously so heavy at all times for like a really long time. And when you're trying to, I have proof that I'm good at social media from corporate and email marketing and some of the other things that I did during that time, but I was not a graphic designer. So, how am I going to sell this story
Yeah.
that I can design your stuff? But it's like, I know that I have a pretty good design eye. So, yes, I can make your brochure, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's not crazy. I know this design tool that makes this pretty simple for me. So then, because I felt that imposter syndrome on some of those things, websites, I had only done my own. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I love to do this. This is one of my services. I have no proof though. I have no proof because I've never, I mean, I have my website as proof, but some people need more proof than that,
Yeah.
right? So, of course, I'm feeling like the biggest imposter, and other people are helping me feel like that by being like, can I see your other work? And I'm like, I
Mm-mm.
don't really have any other work. So then you make your prices low so that they can't pass it up, you know? Like, I think
Yeah.
I did a full ass website for $500.
I did that same thing
Like,
too,
mhm,
where I was
yeah,
like, "Mandy, I'm gonna do this," and I quoted as really low because I'm gonna
mhm,
try things that I'm not sure I can do, and
yeah.
now I look back and I'm like, "You idiot." But at the
But
same
im
time, eh, I had major imposter syndrome building websites in the beginning. I knew that I could do it, but I hadn't done it, and I wasn't sure all that I could do, so I didn't really know how to sell that,
mhm,
to amplify what those services could be. But little by little over time, we have built proof that we can do it. And not only can we do it, we kind of do it pretty freaking good.
mhm.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
and now we have 100 freaking websites, and so it's really easy to show our work. So, I don't know, there's a lot that we could continue to talk about when it comes to our own imposter syndrome, but now I kind of look forward to it, right? Like, I love starting something new, and I think that I love pushing you through your own imposter syndrome,
I hate that about you, but
but
I also love that.
I have so much proof that every time I felt like an imposter, I have gotten over it. I've never failed. You know what I mean? Like in
Hmm.
anything, there was this one website that it was crazy. It was a WordPress website, which I don't like anyway. And then they had a shop, but they had a zillion products and they all had different weights and they all had to be, you know what I mean? Like, so just everything was just the craziest of a e-commerce website, and I failed. I said, "I can't I tried really hard, and I can't do this. I'm giving you all your money back. I'm really sorry. This is not something that is like, here's somebody who can do it
Yeah.
for you." And that felt like proof that I was a failure and that I was an imposter, right? And it's like, no,
Hmm.
no, no, that's proof that I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I can make every website under the sun except for that. I don't want to do that, right? So I think that sometimes we think that because we failed on something that we are just an imposter overall too, and that's not true at all. But I really embrace the feeling of feeling like an imposter because I think that it reminds me that we are growing, right? We're not staying stagnant in just what we're good at, and that's happy to me.
Yeah. It tells me that I'm still learning. That is something that I pride myself on, is that I love to learn and I love to grow, but loving to grow means loving to feel the discomfort of knowing that you don't know something. And
Mhm,
so, yeah, it's a mindset thing. You have to like shift your brain to go, okay, I'm really feeling like a fishy out of water here, but that's a good thing because that means that I'm going to learn something and I'm going
mhm,
to get good at one more thing. And that can be
mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, and then you're gonna put yourself out there to other people that I can do this, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we do all the time when we add new big services and we're like, "Why are we doing this?" But it's good. We just have to learn it and then we can be the experts and then we just have to live through a little discomfort. But I think if you've never felt like an imposter, it's because you are not what?
Just if you've never felt like an imposter, I can't imagine that being the case, but I'm sure there are people out there that
Mhm.
are like, yeah, that's not a thing for me.
Yeah. Well, and there are a couple of reasons that could happen. You didn't ever push yourself,
Yeah.
obviously. You're like, I will stay right here. I will be a bank teller forever because that is what I'm good at. And don't look at me. Like
Yeah.
this is what I'm
And
going to do.
people
And
find their
that's really
comfort zones
yeah,
and
that's really happy for some people. Do it if that's what makes you feel good. If you're just afraid of imposter syndrome, if you're afraid of putting yourself out there, you might not know how happy you can be.
yeah. Well, and I think some people maybe overestimate their capabilities sometimes or lack the self awareness
Mhm.
to feel like the feeling going through the same thing, where they don't know all of the things, but I don't know, maybe some women are built like men where they're like, fuck it, we'll figure it out. I don't know. I would love to hear from a woman who's like, I don't deal with imposter syndrome. This is what it feels like on my side. I would like to understand the other side of this coin.
Mhm.
Maybe there is a different way out there. I don't know, but to me, like the goal really isn't to never doubt yourself. We're all going to doubt ourselves at times, but what I've learned to appreciate about my love for growth is that I don't let that doubt make decisions for me. Sometimes I
Mhm.
have to borrow confidence from you to say, "Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, tell them we can do it, I guess, and we'll figure it out."
Mhm.
And then we do, right? And
Yeah.
then it's like, "Okay, now I have a little more confidence because there is proof that I can do that." And sharing that confidence with you and building each other up to be able to grow is very, very helpful. So
Mhm.
for anybody out there who does feel this and is, kind of trying to fumble your way through that imposter syndrome of it all, like find a friend that's going to give you the confidence that you need to borrow.
Yeah, I agree. This has been a good conversation. I think we could talk about all kinds of ways to fix it, but I think that that's the number one way that you just said. And I think that it's not something that you have to fix as much as just work through. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
I
just
was
have
going to
to work
say
through it.
there's no
Mhm.
solution in my mind, right? Like, and I don't even know that this is a problem. It's not a problem that we need to fix. It's
Mhm.
a signal in your brain that you need to interpret differently.
Mhm. Yeah, mindset
Having
shift it. Yep.
imposter
Mhm.
syndrome should not say to your inner self, you should not be doing this. It should say to yourself, you have a lot to learn and that's exciting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, and I don't know who I'm stealing this from. I'm sure it's off TikTok somewhere.
Mhm.
Um, ready. You're never going to feel fully ready. So if you're waiting to feel ready before you start something new, that may never happen. Ready is not a feeling. Ready is
Mhm.
a decision,
Yeah.
plain and simple. And when you look at it that way, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not ready, but we're doing it. So
Mhm.
here we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a really good conversation. I would love some comments on this one to tell us, like, when was the last time that you felt imposter syndrome? Are you in it kind of right now? And how can we help you maybe fix it? Because this is just a passing phase,
Yeah.
right? And where you're at right now. The thing that imposter syndrome or the lack thereof reminds me of is don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, when she literally goes and gets a job that she is completely 100% not
Yeah.
qualified for, and she's just like, "I'm just gonna power through it," but she figured it out, like, she
Yeah.
figured out how to use different, you know what I mean, like, use her contacts to help her, and she just she kind of figured it out, and then
Out
she
of
was gonna t
desperation,
Yes, out
right?
of
Yeah.
desperation, that's another reason why you might be an imposter because you have to figure out how to, you know, not go hungry. But that was such a cool situation to watch her kind of grow through that because I don't remember, like, yes, she was a complete imposter, right? Like she
Yeah.
actually was. She was not qualified in any capacity for that, but she figured it all out. And you guys can too, because you're,
Yeah.
probably doing something that you're at least a little bit qualified for.
Yes, but what I really want people to get from this conversation as a takeaway is you are allowed to learn publicly. That is okay. There's no shame in asking questions. It is healthy to be growing
Hmm.
at any age,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're
Hmm.
not growing, you're dying.
Hmm.
And it's okay to take up space before you've mastered something.
Hmm.
You can't master it until you take up the space.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, wonderful conversation. I'm excited for everyone to hear this. All right, everyone, go have a good day. Bye.
All right, see you later.